More news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Mary Ryan Howarth, 95.5 WSB.
Well, would you look at that? This is the Nightcap with yours truly, and most importantly, your buddy, Jared Yamamoto. In case you didn't know, this is my new talk show, and you can typically catch my Nightcap Saturday nights from 11 to midnight, right here on 95.5 WSB. And tonight, my friends, is your personal getaway show. You want to know why? Because I know many of you around the metro area have been hosting for several days. And for many of you, the hosting scenarios have not been ideal. You're counting down the hours, the minutes, for some of you, the seconds until your company finally leaves tomorrow. You're tired of Aunt Rhonda, who's been critiquing how you prepare your food. There's too much salt here. There's too much pepper here. Or maybe how you clean your kitchen. She's like, I would use this product instead of that product. For those of you that have been suffering from Aunt Rhonda over the past couple of days, this Nightcap is for you. Or maybe you have an old Uncle Ned, you know, the uncle that's plopped down on the couch since before Thanksgiving in your spot. And has he offered to help with the dishes? No. Has he offered to help with the cooking? No. Can he carry a conversation? No. So for those of you that have been suffering with old Uncle Ned over the past couple of days, this Nightcap is for you. Or maybe you've been suffering from your cousin Jamal, who has come in town and says he has a new job, and he keeps going outside on your porch taking quote-unquote phone calls, but then when he comes back inside your house, he smells like an absolute skunk. So if you're tired of cousin Jamal, Uncle Ned, or Aunt Rhonda, then this Nightcap is for you. In fact, I want it to be your sweet escape from how insane your family has been over the past couple of days. Gwen Stefani, bring it home for me. That's right. It is going to be your own world, and we are going to have an absolute blast here on the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto. And I will go through all of the news of the night here in just a minute. There's a lot of news that popped off today. Obviously, a lot of football. In fact, I probably need to throw this in there. I know that here on WSB, we are the home of the dogs. But my goodness, for all of those homes around Georgia that have divided homes between Tech and Georgia fans, if you are a Tech fan and you're tired of the Georgia fans giving you grief, tonight is your... Yes, after Tech lost another heartbreaker yesterday. That was a great game in clean old-fashioned hate. I want to talk about all the football scores from earlier yesterday, because there's been a lot of football in the Yamamoto household. And again, for those that have been suffering through their family and friends over the past couple of days, then consider this your sweet escape away from all of the craziness out there. So let's go on and get to the...
It's the news of the night.
Yes, indeed. And I feel like we need to start with this story because it was pretty wild. It kind of caught me off guard. I was just looking through all of my tabs here, and I saw that Kim Kardashian learned that she has low brain activity after getting a scan. So this was on her the show The Kardashians, not her show. She has that legal show that I have not watched a second of. Apparently it's terrible. But this was on season 7, episode 6 of The Kardashians, and they go to the doctor to get a scan of her brain. And so she's sitting there with her doctor, and she finds out this. And before I even play this here, I just have to say, I don't understand who is handling her PR, but I'm sorry. If I were to get this kind of news, I would be firing my PR people. I don't want this kind of information going out to the public unless she's trying to get me to feel sorry for her. But I don't think anybody feels sorry for Kim Kardashian in the life of any of the Kardashians anytime they go through some kind of struggle. But maybe I differ from everybody else. Here is what was said on season 7, episode 6. Again, the doctor is talking with her and gives her this diagnosis.
What are those holes?
Yeah, I don't like that. So what the holes mean is low activity. Compared to this one, the front part of your brain is less active than it should be. With your frontal lobes as they work now, it would be harder to manage stress. And that's not good for you, especially as you're studying and you're getting ready to take the boards.
That just can't be. It just can't. Not accepting.
For whatever reason, you're not getting, and it could be the chronic stress that you've been under trying to think about taking the boards in a couple of months and studying 10 hours a day, not to mention all the other things that go on in your life.
Yeah.
But we have to make it better.
And so you get the idea there. The doctor says you have got to work on your brain activity and find ways to, I guess, have less stress in your life. But my whole thing is when you look at the Kardashians in general, because they still, to this day, every day when I'm getting ready for prep for the Von Hessler Doctrine or, of course, for my Nightcap, I see headlines about any one of their family, and they find ways to get in the news cycle. And the one thing that is concerning about Kim Kardashian's PR lately, going back to what I was saying initially before playing the cut here, is that when she failed the California bar test, I guess that was a couple months ago now, she was very open about it, put it all over her social media, and then you get this activity about saying that, or this story suggesting that her brain activity is low here. Now, I know that the intent is for you to feel sorry for her, but I do feel like it is almost too much information being put out there. And what she doesn't understand is that because she is so wealthy and has so much influence, that I really think that news like this could backfire against her. And I think that the big thing to take away here is that when you are super wealthy and you have a privileged life to many Americans, to most Americans, when they see Kim Kardashian or any of the Kardashians, they would say they have a privileged life. Now, again, I can't fault her for how she made her money. I would never take any of that money away from her. She is certainly an entrepreneur, but there are plenty of people that would be jealous of the lifestyle that she has. So by having these humanizing stories, she fails the California bar, she has low brain activity, I don't think that a lot of people are going to give her the reactions that she's going to expect. In fact, I think more people would honestly probably look at a story like this with glee. And I know that it's not necessarily the right way to handle it, but whoever her PR agent is what I would suggest to him or her is we don't need to have all of this information out there about her because she is a polarizing figure, whether you like her or not. And people are going to say incredibly hurtful things about this. There are probably people out there that are glad about that. Now, I am not in that camp saying that I'm glad about this, but what I will say is that she is definitely putting too much information out there that could be used to weaponize attacks against her. And it does kind of feel like she's looking for attention by putting this kind of story out there. So whether it's failing the California bar or, again, this story suggesting that she has low brain activity, I feel like you are just giving ammunition to a lot of the internet trolls out there to come after you. And you should be more selective about the kind of PR that you put out there. It's okay, Kim Kardashian, if you have a week where you're not in the headlines. I mean, there's just some people that just look for attention no matter, they'll go through any length to get as much attention as possible. And I feel like this kind of story here is an absolute mistake by her to put it out there because it's too much information. And she's expecting the people to react and be sympathetic towards her, which she'll get some, but the majority of people are not going to be sympathetic towards her. And I cannot believe that people still watch the Kardashians because I saw these other stories this week talking about how Netflix crashed when Stranger Things came out on Wednesday. And I just have to get this out there. I love Stranger Things. I've watched all 4 seasons, have not started this season for this very reason here. So Netflix decided to release the first half of the season earlier this week on Wednesday. And then they said, okay, we're going to release the rest of it on Christmas Eve. And then the finale is going to be on New Year's Eve. And for me, when Netflix plays these little games like this, they did this with Wednesday a couple months ago where they split the season up. I have found my way to beat the system here. I will just wait until they put the entire season out, and then at that point, I will consume all of the content once it is all out there. I will not play Netflix's little reindeer games. Now, I know people are talking about it. They're like, oh my gosh, can you believe they had this person cast? And can you believe that this happened? And I'm like, you know what? I'm avoiding all the spoilers. I will literally wait until after the first of, or I guess the new year when everything's out, and I will binge it all in one night because I don't like that Netflix is like, oh, we get people. If we get people to come and watch the first half, then they'll likely watch some of our other content while waiting for the second half of their content. I'm not playing Netflix's little reindeer games with this, and I highly suggest this method for those that like to binge watch shows. I am definitely someone that binge watches shows. In fact, I binge watched The Paper this past week because I kept reading all these negative reviews about it. And when everybody starts going a certain direction on a show, then I tend to kind of push back against it. So if people aren't familiar, The Paper is essentially another Office, right? So it's trying to create the same magic that The Office had for so long. And it's about a newspaper company that's kind of, on the brink of going under and has very similar characters. And I liked the show. Obviously, I finished it. But in my opinion, what they did wrong with it, without spoiling anything, is I feel like what made The Office so great was some of the cringeworthy moments that happened. There was not enough cringeworthy moments that happened in The Paper where I'm like, oh, okay, like that's really funny. Like I feel like it's going to hold up over time, unlike some of the things that have happened in The Office, right? Some of the things in The Office, you're like, wow, I cannot believe they did that. It was cutting edge, and it was risky, right? And there was a line, and they certainly were dancing over the line. I felt like The Paper was very safe, is what I'm trying to say. And even though I started liking the characters, I like the development of the characters, and I understand why it got greenlit for a second season, it does not capture the magic of The Office. It's not even close to it. Maybe the second season will be better. I certainly will be watching it. But overall, though, my whole point going back to Netflix, and how they release things out in different bunches like that, first half, second half, and then a premiere. I was perfectly fine waiting to watch The Paper for a couple months after it came out. I was perfectly fine doing that, and I promise you're not missing out if you end up doing that. All right, when we come back, we got a lot to cover on this. Again, this sweet escape Saturday night. That's right. We got to escape from the families. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Apparently, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade had a record 34 million viewers on NBC and Peacock. I have my thoughts about that. I actually watched some of it. I love this story that half of Americans believe that aliens have visited Earth. We'll cover those stories and so much more when my Nightcap returns in just a few minutes. Look at that. You found the Nightcap with yours truly, Jared Yamamoto, and I'm on most Saturdays from 11 to midnight on this great station, 95.5 WSB, but I am on all the time, yes, 24/7 on my socials at Jared Yamamoto. So give me a follow on X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, all the different places. Just type in Jared Yamamoto, and I promise you, I am the only one, and we can keep the conversation going well past midnight when my Nightcap unfortunately has to come to an end tonight. But if you are just tuning in, tonight is your sweet escape. I know for many of you around the metro area, you've been hosting over the past couple of days, and I brought up some examples at the top of the show. Maybe you've got that annoying Aunt Rhonda where, that aunt that always complains about how you clean the kitchen or how you prepare your food. It's not to her standards, and she's been complaining over the past couple of days. So you need a sweet escape away from Aunt Rhonda. Or maybe your Uncle Ned, who, again, has been zero help for anything, especially over Thanksgiving. Didn't help clean up, didn't help cook, has just been literally a bump on a log over the past couple of days. Tonight is your sweet escape away from Uncle Ned. Maybe your cousin Jamal, and I'll even add one too, because cousin Jamal, of course, has a new job, but keeps smoking your stuff and telling you that they're not, and they're just coming in and out of the house and smelling like a skunk. So you're tired of cousin Jamal's antics at this point. But I'll add another one. Maybe the grandparents have been staying with you, and the grandparents are asking for another grandbaby. That gets annoying after a while, and that's why tonight's Nightcap is your That's right. It is your own world tonight, your own escape away from all of the family antics that you've been having to deal with over the past couple days. And we'll go through the news of the night. I brought it before, too. I know that for a lot of houses that are divided with sports, especially with the Tech family and the UGA family, that is a house divided, right? The Tech family members have been having it because UGA took care of business last night and is now going to the SEC championship. If you're a Tech fan and you're struggling out there, tonight's show is... That's right. Tonight's show is for you. All right, so let's get back into the news of the night here because I saw this story here and I was intrigued with it. So from NBC News, the Georgia prosecutor who took over the 2020 election interference case has dropped charges against Trump and others. That's Pete Skandalakis, which apparently, through my family, if you don't know, my wife is Greek, and I think we have some kind of family connection to him. I don't know Pete Skandalakis very well, but I've certainly heard his name. And what he did was he took over the Fani Willis Trump case. You know, this was from several years ago where Fani Willis was convinced that she could get Trump when he said this.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this.
So a lot of people were convinced, including Fani Willis, who was the DA at the time, that Trump was looking to, I guess, cook the books and add extra ballots to the 2020 election. Now, Fani Willis obviously famously took on the case, and she failed miserably in this case. And for anybody in Fulton County that is a fan of Fani Willis, I'm just going to tell you, there are a few politicians that I dislike. There are a few politicians that I like, but a few politicians that I dislike. This lady is one of them. I cannot believe how much of our money, I am a Fulton County resident, by the way, how much of our money, our hard-earned money that was collected as tax dollars that this lady wasted, not only with this Trump case, but also with Young Thug, the longest case in Georgia history. And does she care about that at all? No. She ended up running away with re-election a couple years ago, and people in Fulton County just don't seem to care that this lady will spend so much of your hard-earned money. And you should be outraged with the amount of money that this lady has wasted over the past couple of years. And as predicted, I said it here on my Nightcap a couple of years ago. I'm like, this case is going to go nowhere. It was a stretch from the beginning. They were trying to get Trump on RICO charges, and it was always seemed to be that it was going to be a stretch. Like he was trying to find where the numbers were coming from, how in the world he ended up losing Georgia. He wasn't trying to put ballot boxes in to turn the state over. That's what people completely took out of context there with that case. And I am very critical of the president. So if you're just tuning in for the first time and you're like, oh, he's obviously just a Trump supporter, I am not. But I always thought that case was a stretch, like I thought with the Young Thug case. So bravo, Fani Willis. This is going to cost Fulton County taxpayers millions of dollars that could be used for so many other things. So bravo. And I am glad that Pete Skandalakis ended up deciding to just say, hey, this case is not worth it. Let's drop all the charges and save as much money as possible. All right, when we come back after news, weather, and traffic, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade apparently had record numbers. We'll talk about that. Half of Americans believe aliens have visited Earth. I have a lot to say about that. We'll also talk about Trump saying that whatever Biden signed with an auto pen does not count. We'll cover all those things and more when my Nightcap returns in just a few minutes.
I'm Isabella Rodriguez, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, I got places to be.
Really appreciate each and every one of you for taking your Saturday night to hang out with me here on this Sweet Escape edition of The Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto. Yes, I'm calling it the Sweet Escape edition because I know for many of you around the metro area, you've been hosting family, you've been hosting friends for 3, 4, 5, maybe a week. You've been hosting people for a long time. And we all have those aunts that can be a lot. You know, they have too many critiques about how you cook your food or how you clean your kitchen. Or you got that uncle that doesn't help at all with anything. Or maybe the cousin that claims they've got the new job, but in reality, they don't have any of that. Or the grandparents that are asking when you're going to give them a new grandbaby. When are you going to give them some more kids? I know that it's been a lot over these past couple days, and I genuinely hope that you had a great Thanksgiving. But hosting can become a lot. And for many of you, you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to go get some groceries. Or maybe I'm going to go hang in the driveway. Well, this nightcap is for you. It is the Sweet Escape. That's right. It is your own world. Take those words from Gwen Stefani very well there. It is your Sweet Escape tonight here on the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto. We're just going through the news of the night. There are a lot of things that we've already covered. And if you missed any of the show so far, remember, you can grab any of my previous Nightcaps as podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. That's on the WSB Radio app, WSBRadio.com, or any of your favorite podcast providers. And speaking of the WSB Radio app, you can also leave open mics over there where you can interact with me. And this gentleman, I don't think he heard exactly what I said in the last segment. So I'll play his open mic, and then I will re-explain what he's bringing up here.
Mr. Jared Yamamoto.
Hello.
I'll bet you when you get home, your wife is going to grill you for not defending her Greek honor.
What kind of husband are you? Not defending me on live radio.
Okay, so first off, what I said in the last segment was obviously about the Georgia prosecutor who took over the 2020 election interference case, decided to drop the charges against Trump and the others. This gentleman, his name is Pete Skandalakis, and it turns out that we are related somehow. Just, it's not like we're like first or second cousins or anything like that, but like somehow we're related, and I don't know this guy, but my wife is Greek. And I said, actually, the way that Pete Skandalakis, who, again, I don't know, by dropping the charges against Trump, it actually was the right move. Because what I said before was Fani Willis always, who was the DA that ended up taking up this case against Trump, suggesting that he was trying to overthrow the Georgia state election by looking for 10,000 votes and trying to cheat. He was essentially trying to cheat. And Fani, her case was always thin, in my opinion. It was always thin, much like it was thin against Young Thug, trying to get him for racketeering, and it wasted a ton of money in Fulton County. So if anything, I am applauding Pete Skandalakis, who took over this case and just said, hey, like we've already lost so much money. There's no point in us, dragging the president through glass again, when in reality, there's no way we're going to be able to get him for this. Like, if you're going to go after a president or a former president like you did here, make sure that you have a great case and take the politics out of it. It's like I know that when Trump first got elected, there were a lot of judges in Texas that were like, well, we can get Biden on this or we can get Biden on that. And I'm like, for the love of the country, for goodness sake, like, let's not do this. We have to get out of this mindset where it's one lawsuit here, one lawsuit there, and but because the Democrats did it, we as Republicans have to do it. And then the Democrats say, well, because the Republicans did it, we therefore have to do it. No. We have to get out of this mindset altogether. And if anything, I appreciate Pete Skandalakis for dropping the case here. He's wasting our time. So you misheard their open mic, but that's perfectly fine. I will always defend my wife and always defend, I guess, my new Greek roots now. Greeks are very prideful, but I have learned that Italians are prideful too, and there are a lot of different cultures that are very prideful about where they came from. As a Yamamoto, I'm like, okay, I love that I have Japanese ancestry, but I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily like super prideful about it. I'm like, yes, I carry my Yamamoto family tree with a badge of honor. I'm not disappointed in it, but I don't I grew up in Georgia, grew up in Atlanta, born and raised here. I would say I'm a lot more hillbilly than I am Japanese just because of where I grew up here in the South. All right, so now let's get to more of the news of the night here. So this is one of those stories kind of relating to the last story there that I was just bringing up. Trump says that he's canceling all executive orders that Biden didn't personally sign. So this is the big auto pen debate that's been going on over the past, really, since Trump got reelected. And I have to say, with this story here, if it is true that Biden did not know that he was signing a lot of these presidential pardons using auto pen, if he ended up signing some bills using this auto pen, then I think we have a real case here. But with President Trump, I mean, for goodness sake, you have got to let go of the previous administration. At this point, you have basically been in office for a year. Let it go. Fix the problems that the American people are feeling now. Like right now, most middle-class families don't feel like you're improving the economy for them. Now, of course, anybody in the Trump administration is going to fight back and say differently, but that's a bigger issue than the auto pen inconsistencies that we saw with the Biden administration. Like, there are more important things to deal with. And when you keep blaming Biden about things, when you're feeling the pressure from all of your constituents saying you're not doing a good job, it just seems childish to me. And I do think for the future, what we have to understand is that whoever is signing these bills, we do need to confirm that they actually do sign the bills, because we don't know whether or not Biden was actually signing these bills or not. And I think that this will be solidified by the court. But from a communication standpoint, what Trump has got to understand is that, bro, you're in power. You are the one in control now. Stop trying to say, like, well, look at this shiny object over here. Look at how bad the Biden administration was. Nana boo boo, they're so bad. Oh, and this is what I'm doing to help fix things. No, what you need to be doing is working on making sure that the economy works for all different kinds of families that are out there, and there'll be less people there. Then you can really tout your accomplishments when you can see some real changes there, instead of continuing to blame the last administration. Again, I don't love the auto pen argument. I don't love that Biden used the auto pen, but there are more important things that we should be focused on as a country than whether or not the previous president used an auto pen or not. That's going to be rectified in court, and it's going to be we're going to get a final solution. We probably will never get another president that was as out of it as Joe Biden was because of that. So I think that that's the past. We need to focus on the future and how to make the country work for all different kinds of families out there. All right, continuing with the news of the night here. I love this YouGov poll that came out yesterday. It found that most of Americans believe that aliens exist, and many think that aliens have paid a visit to Earth in recent years. I find stories like this to be fascinating. I like to kind of play the conspiracy game and kind of like play it out. We had some good conversations over Thanksgiving, just playing out, what if they did visit? What would they do? Now, in my opinion, this is just where I stand on things. I do believe that there is other life out there. I mean, the universe is just so vast and so huge that our little human brains can't understand how big the universe is. I mean, we're still unsure whether or not the Big Bang was a real thing and whether or not the universe is expanding or contracting. There are all kinds of studies suggesting either or in that argument. My whole thing with it is that the universe is just too big. Like, it's too big for us to just be out here by ourselves. With that being said, since it is so big, why in the world would any other thing want to come and find us? I mean, they would look at planet Earth and be like, what in the hell is going on here? This little planet has all of these issues going on, and I think that they would steer as far away as possible from us. And there's also this idea, too, that we would be at a technological disadvantage from, air quote, aliens here compared to there's this idea that they just have much better technology than we do. It is very possible that if there is other life out there, that their technology and their, I guess, components of life could be much simpler than us, actually. And I don't think a lot of people play that argument as much. Maybe it's not as fun to make that argument because it is more of a logical, rational perspective. But maybe it is possible that we have better technology than most of the other, I guess, alien life that's out there. Those are the things that I would take away. But I did think that it was funny that a majority of Americans believe that aliens exist, followed by Bigfoot, the Yeti, Loch Ness Monster, and then the Chupacabra. And Democrats were actually believers of all of these things at a higher rate than Republicans. I guess Republicans do have the the Republicans have got the Bigfoot category. They believe in Bigfoot a little bit more than the Democrats do. But everything else, the Democrats believe in more, which, that goes into a religious argument, which I don't want to go that angle. Again, this is our, remember, tonight is our... That's right. It is our Sweet Escape edition of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto. It's always fun to have those kind of conversations, and hopefully you are in a family or around friends that are comfortable having those conversations without being like, how dare you go that direction with things? Like, that's a very controversial topic. Talking about aliens is not controversial. It is a fun topic to bring up, and let me know on the open mic whether or not, number one, if you believe in them or if you think that they're more technologically advanced than not. Just leave your 30 seconds on the WSB radio app, and I'll play your open mic in the next segment. Jason will make sure to grab those for me. I appreciate you, Jason, by the way. Now, I wanted to get to this story here because I found this other survey saying that you are an annoying traveler if you do these things. And I totally agree. Number one, you have all these passengers that feel very entitled when they show up late to their flight. That is ridiculous. Tomorrow is the busiest travel day of the year. Don't be late. Give yourself plenty of time. A lot of rookie travelers are going to be out, and you don't want to be showing up to the gate late. You don't want to, TSA is already going to be taxed. They already went through the government shutdown where they weren't paid for a while. I'm glad they've been paid now, but they're still, I'm sure they're probably not in the best mood after what they had to deal with over the past couple of months. Then you also have, the people that are super loud and noisy in the airport. And I totally agree with the survey. Listen, there is a reason why headphones were invented, and that is so that way you can listen to your music by yourself. There's no reason for you to be walking around, and I saw this at the airport a couple months ago, where people were just playing their music loudly in the airport. And I'm like, I get it. I see it on MARTA too. I see it on a lot of different public transportation. I'm like, guys, we don't need to hear your music. And it's like they're asking for a fight. It's like they're asking for me to tell them to turn their music down. I always just put my headphones in and go in my own world, and I'm perfectly content. But for those of you, especially if you think that your music is that good, or that your show that you're listening to is that good that everybody else around you needs to do it, full stop. You should not be doing that while on the airport, especially if you don't fly that often. Make sure you bring those headphones with you, so that way when you're at the airport, you're not disturbing everybody else, and you're not late, and then you're not disturbing just the overall process. A lot of people don't want to be at the airport. A lot of people don't know where they're going, and you want to make tomorrow as easy as possible. All right, when we come back, I have a couple more stories I want to get to. Number one, definitely have to get to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade numbers. I have a theory as to why those numbers are so high. I don't think a lot of people were actually watching it, but I have a theory as to why those numbers were so high. I'll get to your open mics, and I've got a couple more stories that I want to get to as well as we continue this Sweet Escape edition of... That's right there, Gwen. We will continue this Sweet Escape edition of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto in just a few minutes. It really feels like we are just getting started here on the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto. And then I look up and I realize we're starting the last segment. This is unbelievable how fast this show has gone. I really and genuinely hope that I have provided you a nice escape from all of the crazy family, all of the hosting duties that you may have been doing over the past couple of days, courtesy of Gwen Stefani, of course. Here on the Nightcap, hopefully this has been your own world, at least for this hour of time. But I'm here to promise you this. We can keep the conversation going on my socials at Jared Yamamoto well after midnight, and I can help provide that escape from all of the crazy family you've been dealing with over the past couple of days. That being said, not a lot of time, and there are a couple of stories I want to get to. Number one, I saw that artificial intelligence decision support tools for end-of-life care planning is starting to pick up here. Now, I have a package about this, and it basically means that if you don't have any loved ones around you and you're not doing well, AI could make the decision for you. Now, I have a lot of thoughts about that, but here's the package talking about it.
Could a digital clone of you help doctors and family members make your end-of-life decisions if you become incapacitated and can't tell them what you want? A University of Washington researcher is studying that. Mohammed Aurangzeb Ahmad suggests AI surrogates could predict what a patient's wishes were by examining their medical history, interactions with doctors and family members, and other data. Ahmad tells ARS Technica this research is still in the concept phase, but one day it might assist with some of the most difficult decisions loved ones have to make. Heather Bosch, CBS News, Seattle.
I appreciate that, Heather. Let's just put it this way. Since there's been a theme to tonight's nightcap, if grandma or the parents keep asking about grandkids or when we're going to have a baby, then, we're going to let AI decide whether or not they live or not when it's time to pull the plug instead of me being able to decide whether or not to pull the plug. And, of course, I'm kidding. I know that there's people that are going to listen and be like, oh, my gosh, that Jared Yamamoto, he's ruthless. No, I could see something like this working out in the future. I mean, AI is getting just progressively better and better. I mean, every week, even tonight, there's just all these AI stories. And I really didn't want to go into like a doom and gloom kind of scenario because people are so just nervous and scared about AI all the time. And for me, my whole takeaway from AI is that it is there as a tool. It is going to help you do your tasks and make it easier for you. And there's been all kinds of technological advances that have happened throughout the existence of humanity. And it is okay to showcase or to show a little fear about it, but it is better just to embrace it. I mean, it's like when people look in their kitchen and they see all these different inventions. It's like, well, I would much rather have a campfire to cook my food instead of looking over at the really nice oven or looking at the refrigerator or looking at the microwave. And I'm like, it's ridiculous. Technology is always changing and it's always advancing, and humanity will always have a harness on it. It's just there to make our lives easier. And the more people understand that, the better it's going to be. And I think in maybe 50 years, if there are no loved ones around, maybe it is possible for an AI clone to decide whether or not it is beneficial to keep me or whoever it is that could be passing away alive or not. And with that being said, we are out of time. I cannot believe I took that all the way. There was a story I didn't get to, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade ratings. And I'll just say this. A lot of people don't watch it. It's on in the background. I don't know how they measure those numbers. Those are not real numbers there at 34 million people, a record. It's just on in the background, and people are just casually watching it left and right. That is our time for tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out here on the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto. I will be back next Saturday from 11 to midnight. And, of course, catch me on the Von Hessler Doctrine. But do two things for me, friends. Number one, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And the number two, be safe out there tonight. And I'll talk to you Monday on the Doctrine.